Now we are. Hello and welcome to Standard Night Wednesday, Standard Showdown now, right?
Yeah, it's Standard Showdown now.
I'm Robert Meadows. I'm joined here today by Patrick Narsavage.
How's it going, guys?
He's new here.
Not to the store, just to the booth.
Yeah. So just to let you guys know, we are brought to you by GameSwap Mason. That's in Ohio, by the way, if you don't know. Where you can find a wide variety of Magic the Gathering singles and sealed products throughout the game's history, as well as video games, movies, tabletop supplies, and board games. Plus, plenty of table space for you and your friends to enjoy your favorite classic and discover something new. GameSwap Mason is conveniently located in Route 42, Red Road, Mason, Ohio, in the northern suburbs of Cincinnati. All right, so we got Matthew Minniear here on Esper, Revel.
Yeah, Esper, Revel.
Now, I don't...
I have actually played against this deck before, and so his main plan, as you could probably tell from the name, is to accumulate at least 10 treasures, and then start his turn with Revel and Riches in play, which just lets him win the game.
Yeah, so it's alternate win con kind of deck.
Yeah, and the ways he's trying to do this are he's got Spell Swindle in the deck, which is like the
5 mana.
Yeah,
mana
the 5
drain.
mana mana drain.
All right.
And then he also has Treasure Map. Some copies of Dire Fleet Hoarder, and then actually Anointed Procession.
Anointed. Oh, because it. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it doesn't just say creature tokens.
Oh, yeah, that's sweet. So we got Jake over here on a typical. I say this is average Temur energy start, except not playing a 3-drop on 3.
Yeah, I mean he's got the turn 2 Long Tusk Cub, which is the most important thing, but Matthew does have the Fatal Push in hand, so that's not going to get out of control.
Yeah, I like Matt just taking a turn off here to deploy the treasure map.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look like, and I haven't gotten a great look at his hand, but it doesn't look like he has too many expensive cards, so he's definitely be able to take the 1 mana per turn to scry, maybe filter his draws.
Yeah, I like that.
And you can see he's got a Fatal Push, an Annoying Procession in his hand, a couple more lands, looks another treasure map.
Is that a Supreme Will?
I think so.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. And
so it seems like Jake missed a trigger. Because he attuned Cast Servant, so that's 4 energy.
Yeah, he has missed 2 points of energy, I think.
Yep. But
yeah,
I don't know how much that's going to matter.
Yeah, he does have an Abrade in hand, which is going to be useful for getting rid of this treasure map, but
Matt can still get value off of it.
Yeah, and this is going to be another one of those matchups that Temur Energy has a problem with, like blue-black control, where they just don't play any creatures, and so they have Dead Harness Lightnings and some other stuff like that, and Matthew doesn't really have any creatures in his deck that it's useful to spend removal spells on. So he's just going to be left with a couple just dead cards in hand.
All right, yeah, I can totally see that. And Jake's is just trying to get as much as value out of his cards probably
right now.
Yeah,
he's just trying to... He essentially has to race because Matthew's just going to be trying to keep the board clear and not do... take too much damage. So Jake's plan is just to kill
face, right?
Yeah. Just go face.
Yeah, turn creature sideways.
As far as I'm aware, Matthew isn't running any sweepers, so this Bristling Hydra, if Jake plays it, is going to be quite good, except for the fact that he's got the Supreme Will in hand on Matthew's side.
Yeah, and it's going to be really up to Matthew if he decides to actually just tap out for the Anointed Procession.
Yeah, that could provide a little bit of a problem for Matthew. I would actually wait until I had the 5th land on his side so he could play Anointed Procession and...
At least scry.
Yeah, and that, but it looks like Abrade's going to take care of the treasure map.
All right.
He's going to scry and scry and response.
All right.
He's a Spell Swindle, which...
He has no 5th land, which...
He doesn't have a 5th land.
Ooh, this is tricky. Would he take it?
No, I would not. You have a contract killing in hand, and I just wouldn't want to be at the point where I'm just going to miss my 5th land drop.
And it seems like Matthew kept it on top. I'm sure he has a reason why.
Yeah, he probably does.
I mean, he probably figures with like double... I think it's double Supreme Will in his hand.
I don't think he has double Supreme Will. He just has a Supreme Will, a contract killing, a treasure map, and 2 Anointed Processions, I believe was in his hand.
All right, so I think what Matt is thinking, he's just going to take his turn off to cast Anointed Procession anyways, and hope hit his 5th land drop next turn. Then hopefully he can just like start like snowballing the treasure amount that way. I could be wrong, though.
If he does get to... If he does draw the 5th land, and he could play contract killing on something substantial, but it doesn't look like Jake has anything substantial. That was a really good turn to play something.
Yep.
Oh, and he drew the 5th land. So that is going to be more. So now he can leave up Spell Swindle, get double treasures. He could play the other Anointing Procession, which looks like he's going to do. He could also play the treasure map. Now, we just played Glorybringer.
Yeah. So
now,
4, 8. Put
so
it down to 3.
Yeah, Matt does need to draw another removal spell to last the turn.
Yeah.
And
That's
he drew start to finish.
All right, and that's gives him blockers.
That's gonna give
Holy
him,
crap!
That's gonna give him 8 tokens. So what that actually lets him do is he can contract killing to get 8 treasures. Because Anointing Procession does stack like that.
Does it now?
Yes, it does. I have played against many token decks on Magic Online, and that is how they work.
Okay, so basically, you have contract killing. You get 2 treasures from that.
Yes.
Then you get, so you have 1.
Yeah, and Matt's actually explaining to Jake right now. It does double each time.
Oh yeah, because Anointing Possession is making the tokens well. So the second Anointing Possession will see that.
You hear Matt calling the judge to explain this to him.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, so Matt's actually gonna get 8 treasure tokens, and then he's going to sacrifice, I think it's 3 mana for start to finish, so he's going to sacrifice 3 of them and get 8 1/1 warriors with vigilance, which...
Yeah, I mean, I can see why...
it's definitely confusing because there are, I believe, other effects in the game that don't act like this.
Yeah, it's like, instead of like, if a lot of like EDH players are used to like... if like Crypt Gas, like basically people to say like it doubles your mana. Yeah, literally just adds 1.
It's 2 instances of a replacement effect, and so that leaves Now start is an instant, so Matt can wait to cast it until he goes to combat.
Yep.
Which it looks like is what he's gonna do.
Right.
And it looks like Jake's hand is just Forest Harness Lightning, so. He needs to find a
sweeper.
I think he needs just to find Glorybringer.
All right, and hope to race.
Well, a Glorybringer is lethal because Matt's at 3.
Well, it has a resolve also.
Yeah, that's the big thing. That Spell Swindle hand from Matt, which
would make
if
20.
If it counts as a Glorybringer, it'll make 20 treasures, which is just a lot. Okay.
Only okay.
I mean, it's like at that point, 20 is not that different from 10 because it's gonna win either way. So what Matt is just looking for is he's just looking for a way to close out the game. 3
1/1s close out the game.
Yeah, that's gonna take a few turns.
Not really. It's like a Delver Clock.
It is like a Delver Clock, but that could also it could just be spoiled by like a Whirler Virtuoso. Just kind of negates that.
Yeah, that's fair. But
even just a Rogue Refiner can just keep blocking now.
Yeah, but from what we know like Jake's actually just top decking right now.
Yeah, so Matt has the option right now to either leave up Spell Swindle or play Treasure Map. I like this line because it does leave him open to just dying to a Glorybringer right here.
Mm-hmm.
But
actually, no, he can just use the treasures to crack the clue for mana Spell Swindler.
Oh, you're right. So I always forget about treasures that they can just do that. Like
I know.
I make that mistake all the time, especially on like Moto. Yeah, so I think Matthew's pretty safe here. He's just looking for probably Revel and Riches or just other ways to
close out the game.
Yeah. What he really wants to do right now is he really wants to get his treasure map flipped because that's going to produce 12 treasures when it flips. And then it can tap to just draw cards by sacrificing treasure, which is going to be a great way for him to get ahead on cards, which he kind of is already, but that'll let him draw towards his...
solidify his lead.
Yeah, it's going to let him draw to his Revel and the Riches. And you can see this issue I was talking about earlier where Jake is killing a token with a Harness Lightning.
Yeah, that doesn't seem that great. Oh, okay.
And so that is...
16?
Yes. 16 treasures. Again, we're getting kind of to the point where the treasures don't really matter. Like the exact number doesn't matter that much because he's got 21 treasures.
Yeah.
So so here he's gonna flip the treasure map. Now, main deck, I'm guessing Jake does not have any good ways to deal with enchantments because when you play Revel in the Riches, it is an upkeep trigger.
Yep.
So you do have to wait a turn. Like you have to untap with the enchantment. So I would be guessing Jake's not playing anything like a main deck Appetite for the Unnatural or a Slice and Twain.
I don't think so.
Probably not. He probably has a couple on the board.
Oh, I see a few. Oh, Matt does have a sweeper.
Matt does have sweepers.
Good call. I like that.
Yeah, Fumigate is probably one of the
Premier
best
sweepers.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best cards in the format if you're looking to beat up on these green decks.
What about Settle the Wreckage?
Settle the Wreckage is good. And it's definitely something that you can use as a way to get. It's a lot better actually against the vehicles decks, where you need the interaction at instant speed. Against Temur Energy and other decks like Sultai Energy, the difference is really that it just is 1 mana cheaper.
All right.
But there's sort of a downside if you do it on like turn 4, where
you can just ramp them a lot.
Yeah, you can just ramp them a lot, and they may be able to cast more turns than you have answers to, or cast more spells in a turn.
I can see that.
But the decks like Temur Energy, it doesn't have actually a great way to use its excess mana. It doesn't have anything like Walking Ballista, which is a good source to just dump mana into, and it doesn't have any mana sink or like card drain like Search for Azcanta and like one of the control decks would.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Settle the Wreckage is a decent card against these green decks. Fumigate's pretty good against Whirler Virtuoso and Glorybringer specifically, because it gains life, so all those tokens that they make, you can generate into an advantage for yourself instead of your opponent.
All right, Matt just fumigated his own board. I don't know how I feel about that. I like it now.
What?
Oh, I see why he did that. So he can survive a top deck,
Oh, see, that is actually just what I was about to say, is like Fumigate is good because it can get you out of Glorybringer range.
Alright, I like that.
Yeah, no, actually, that's a very heads-up play from Matt, realizing that the only way he really loses it, and he does have a copy of Revel in the Riches in hand,
so basically,
and a copy of Walk the Plank.
So Jake has a turn.
Jake has a turn to draw, I believe, exactly Glorybringer.
Or Chandra, Torch of Defiance if he's playing it.
That's true. We could draw Chandra.
Alright.
I don't know what else there could be. I can't think of any other haste creatures that he might have.
Bomat Carrier. I don't know. Well, no,
he's Fatal Push in hand. So let's see it.
No,
he doesn't have it.
Alright, Matt got round 1. Game 1.
Matt does get to revel in his riches. He has accumulated a lot of treasure, and it carries him to victory in Game 1.
Yep. I have a lot of fond memories of this card. It was my pre-release promo.
Oh, yeah, I actually remember that. That was... How many games did you win because of that card?
1.
1. And how many matches do you win because of that deck?
1. I won. You know what?
No, you did. You lived the dream.
Yeah, I got to 10 treasures in a sealed game. I was happy about that.
Yeah. I believe at the same pre-release also had that in my pool and just didn't have
like
a good like blue or black cards to like, because I remember I had like 2 copies of the guy that you can just pay mana to make treasures.
Yep. I wish I had that guy in my sealed deck.
So looking at the sideboards for these 2 players,
Matthew just bringing more removal of any sort, maybe
some
sort of Essence Scatters.
He could have Essence Scatters in his deck. He could in his board. He could have more sweeper effects.
Maybe a creature or something like that, because he specs all these decks to board out.
Yeah, he has Scarab God is probably something that if he has access to, which it looks like he does. He's going to want to bring in because that is
Haymaker in these kind of...
Yeah, that's the premier threat that these Temur decks have to deal with. It's one of the best threats against them. It's the reason that they're running so many...
Confiscation Cubes main deck?
Yeah, 2 Confiscation Cubes main deck. It's another reason to play things like From the Peach Guard Nothless, you saw commit to memory as kind of like a catch-all answer.
Yeah, and I've been recently seeing some Temur energy lists with 2 essence scatters in the main.
Yeah, that was from the Peach Guard Nothless, which I really like. I don't have a ton of experience playing Temur Energy, but the few matches I've played recently, the Temur Energy playing Essence Scatter is a really good way to break serve in the there's the mirror and any other creature decks. Are you looking at what Ashes of the Abhorrent does?
Yeah, I don't know what that does.
It's a 1 and a white for an enchantment, and we were just being told that Matt has this in his sideboard, which I don't think he'll be bringing in, that says whenever a creature dies, you gain 1 life, and you can't cast spells or creatures can't activate abilities. Yeah, so
cards from graveyard.
this is a card that you're probably not going to see in any standard decks.
It might see some play modern. I don't think so.
So the only time I think this will see play in modern is if you're playing in a collected company like Vizier deck, where you're playing the Kitchen Finks and Infinite Life Combo, where you wouldn't want to play like Rest in Peace or Grafdigger's Cage.
All right.
Because that stops your Kitchen Finks from coming back. That stops your Grafdigger's Cage, stops your Cocos or your collected companies. This is something that you can play against
Snapcaster decks?
Yeah, like Storm.
All right. I can see that.
But yeah, we're getting a little off topic here with this random sideboard card. So we've talked about Matt's sideboard. So what do you think Jake is going to have in his
negates?
He probably has some negates, yeah.
I can totally see that coming in here.
Yeah, and the negate is probably one of the best ways Jake has to combat
enchantments.
Sweepers. Well, yeah, enchantments too, but honestly, if he can just kill Matt, he doesn't really care. Like,
that's fair.
Revel in the Riches and Anointing Procession are very synergistic cards, and they require you to like have some setup. Yeah. So, like, because you just play them on turn 4, turn 5, and they just don't do anything. They don't impact the board in any way whatsoever.
Yeah, totally.
So if you just play them when your opponent has Rogue Refiner, Longtusk Cub, Bristling Hydra in play, that doesn't do anything. You're just gonna die to those creatures.
True.
So one of Matt's best cards against those kind of starts is going to be something like Fumigate or Settle if he has it. Yeah. And that's one of the best ways Jake's going to have to combat that game plan is Negate or maybe even Spell Pierce or... so I've seen some teamer decks play Supreme Will on the board. No, Jerry Thompson played that at U.S. Nationals.
Really?
Yes, he had 2... he had a couple... He didn't have any Negates. He had 3 Spell Pierce and 2 copies of Supreme Will. And something in the sideboard.
Okay.
In the sideboard.
Was the Spell Pierce main or side?
Spell Pierce also sideboard.
All right.
Jake probably also is going to have some number of copies of Appetite for the Unnatural, or Slice and Twain, or even I've seen some teamer decks to combat the rise of Abzan and Esper tokens. River's Rebuke.
I have no idea what that card is.
It is 4 blue. All
right.
For it returns all of your opponent's non-land permanents to their hand. It's basically a 6-mana overloaded Cyclonic Rift.
All right.
And so that is, you can see it on the screen right there.
Yep. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that is something that it just kills other tokens, and then it brings back the disadvantage of these 4 and 5 mana enchantments. We have to spend more turns playing them. Now, there's one card that Jake's sideboard that I'm actually kind of surprised he brought in, but it makes sense. He has a Nissa... The 5-mana Nissa, who's...
Vital Force?
Yeah, Vital Force in his hand, I believe. Which, that's a different way if you want to combat these Fumigate decks.
Alright, I like
that.
It's
a way that people kind of put it like Reality Smasher almost, because it's just a 5-mana, 5/5 haste that it also, against like these Fumigate decks who are trying to just run you out of resources... if you want to just make an emblem and you just play lands and draw cards, that's a pretty good way to stay up on resources.
Yeah, also, like, Jake did see a lot of sorcery speed removal from Matt game 1, like with Contract Killing and Walk the Plane. So it's going to be very hard for Matt to interact with Nissa, the land she's making 5/5s.
Well, the 5/5s are creatures on your opponent's turn too.
They are?
Yes. It's until your next turn, so it can also be a 5/5 blocker.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, then Ryan.
So you do have to be careful. But
my point.
Yeah, but again, like, it's just dying to anything like that. So you see a Rogue Refiner getting Supreme Will here. And so let's see. Honestly, Matt's hand right now, I believe, is just lands and Revel in the Riches.
Seems good.
I think that is his hand.
I mean, double Revel isn't the worst.
It's not the worst, but there you see that sideboard appetite for the unnatural coming in for Jake here.
All right. It's a good thing Matt has a backup.
Yeah, it is a good thing. The thing I worry about with this hand, though, is the hand really doesn't do anything. And here's that Nissa Vital Force
All right. Good
coming
thing.
in, and it is going to smack Matt in the face for 5.
All right.
And that, with the Servant of the Conduit, is in and of itself a
Fast clock.
3-turn clock, I believe, right now.
7/7.
No, 2-turn clock.
Yeah.
Right now. So Matt does need a way to deal with this.
Well, good thing I was wrong about Nissa, and Matt can't interact with land.
Well, yeah, but it's only a 5/5 till the end of the turn, and even if you kill the land, he can just animate a different land.
True.
And so, yeah, that's one of the problems I see Matt having with this matchup, and in just this format in general, is he is going to take some time to set up his game plan. And while he is playing a win condition that is very hard to interact with in the form of enchantments, he doesn't have a lot of like early creatures so that he can impact the board, and even puts some pressure on his opponent. Like, a lot of the way, like, you don't really need these big payoff cards in Temur Energy like Glorybringer or Nissa. I've seen a lot of wins where you just beat down with some Rogue Refiners.
Or Long Tusk Cub.
Yeah, or just Long Tusk Cubs.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Long Tusk Cub in Temur Energy decks because it feels like it's the most hyper-efficient creature in the deck.
Yeah, the main thing about it is it gets the best rate on energy. So if you look at all of their energy payoffs, Bristling Hydra, it costs 3 energy to give it +1/+1 and hexproof. For Whirler Virtuoso, it costs 3 mana
to make a 1/1 with flyer.
Yeah, to make a 1/1 flyer. The best thing about Long Tusk Cub is you can play your turn 1 attune, and then you can So I have been known for playing a lot of decks that need the card Magma Spray in order to survive the early game, and that, well, it may match up well against the Long Tusk Cub. It does not match up well against the Long Tusk Cub after they cast Attune with Aether.
All right, so I think we saw a negate in Jake's hand. I don't get why he... So he probably just hold up the game for the sweeper. That might.
Yeah, that's the biggest way he's gonna lose this game is if his Nissa gets dealt with. Honestly, I don't even think he would counter sweeper. I think he might just be saving that negate for a Revel and Riches. Yep, and you see Matthew scoop with the cards there. He had said all lands. He did not draw a good way to interact with the board, and that is going to be game 2 going to Jake Valentine, and we're going to get to go to game 3 with this exciting Revel and Riches deck.
And Temur Energy.
Yeah, good old standard,
such a boring
old faithful
deck.
I don't know if I'd agree with saying it's a boring deck.
Well, you just play dudes and turn them sideways, right?
Yes and no.
I know.
Yeah.
Yep. So while these players are sideboarding, we just like to remind you to check out us on social media. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/TopDeckProductions. You'll be able to find us while we're streaming right here, at twitch.tv. In addition, be sure to check out our YouTube channel at Top Deck Productions Stream for replays and archives coverage from all of our streams. You can follow us on Twitter at Top Deck Prods. Don't ask me what a prod is.
I think it's just they couldn't fit productions or didn't want to fit productions.
I don't know what. Now, also on Instagram as well, for all your Instagram lovers at Top Deck Pro, where every Sunday we apparently post a Jake Valentine food tour photo.
I don't know a great many places to eat around this area, so that might be something worth checking out for me and some other people new to the area, because that's one thing that I liked when I go somewhere is make sure I know where the best food is.
Yeah, I know. When we go to Louisville for events, there's one restaurant I like to go there all the time. The Dragon King's Daughter.
Okay, I've never heard of this place.
Yeah, they have dang quesadillas.
Okay, the first time that I went to Louisville for a Magic tournament, we found this place. It was this hole in the wall. It's called New Wave Burritos.
I think Zach told me about that.
Yeah, it is really good. Make sure you don't have a long drive afterwards, or make sure the windows roll down.
Why, you got to fart?
Yeah, it's not great. And then I think probably the most famous restaurant in Louisville for the Magic community, which I actually went there not for Magic, just with my family. It's called Game.
All right.
That place is fantastic. It's like different meats, not like your standard like beef, chicken, like anything like you would have on a burger. No, it's like you can get bison or buffalo. You can get all these weird like things that you might find more out in like the western parts, like Wyoming. And it's really good. It's a little pricey, so let's make sure you go there with your family when you're not paying. That's the key.
Free meals is the best meal.
So it looks like we are going to
Game 3.
Game 3, and hopefully both players keep 7.
You know, we like to see games of Magic actually.
Yeah. This looks like a pretty solid hand for Matthew on the play. He has
Opt.
Turn 1 Opt. He has Fumigate.
I really hope he didn't keep a 1-lander based on Opt.
He did not.
Okay.
It does look like he has about 3 lands, one of them being Glacial Fortress.
And he drew another land, which is probably fine.
He has all 3 colors. He's drawn his Revel in the Riches.
Essence Scatter? Maybe? Nope.
Yeah, so he does have a Supreme Will, which means he's going to have an ability to deal with something like a turn 3 Bristling Hydra or a Rogue Refiner.
That seems huge.
Yeah, so, but there is some merit to trying to let Jake play his threats. I don't think he should let something like a Bristling Hydra resolve, but I'd honestly be fine with letting, like, maybe even a Whirler Virtuoso, like, right here, or Rogue Refiner resolve.
Especially with a Fumigate in
Yeah,
hand.
because you have Fumigate. Now, you do have to worry about having maybe, like, a Negate or a Spell Pierce for that Fumigate. But what he could also be trying to do is set up a turn where he can play Revel in Riches on 5.
All right.
And then cast Fumigate, because Revel in the Riches, it doesn't just say you eventually get to win the game. It has this clause where whenever a creature your opponent control dies, you get a treasure. So it does help itself further its own game plan.
I see a Trencher Gearhulk in Jake's hand. I like that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good card in this kind of matchup. It's something that dodges Fumigate. Yeah, this is
a lot.
It's going to be a lot of damage. It's, if he wants it to be, it can be a total of 9 damage, but it's only going to be 8. But this is something where...
Fumigate.
Yeah, Fumigate's just going to clean up here, and it's going to gain Matthew about 3 life. It's going to be 3 life.
And 3 treasures.
And 3 treasures, and he actually picked up another copy of Fumigate. So if Jake tries to rebuild the board here by playing something like a Whirler Virtuoso, looks like he has a Servant, a Supreme Will, and a copy of Glorybringer.
Yeah, it seems like
and
Jake
the
was
Torrential
really.
Gearhulk.
Yeah, it seems like Jake was really using that Servant for his.
Oh, he's got 2 Servants, and he's missing his 5th land drop.
Oh,
if I were Matt, I would snap Fumigate this board.
Well, he doesn't have to because he just did Fatal Push that.
Well, Fatal Push. Okay,
and he has Walk the Plank.
He has Walk the Plank in hand, so he could. I would actually just prefer unless you're scared of exactly Bristling Hydra, you could just play your sweeper here, and then you have your threats to follow up a. So if Jake plays a threat, you can just kill it with Fatal Push or Walk the Plank. And now you see here Jake opting to not play the Long Tusk Cub in his hand, and he's going for Supreme Will to try to find his 5th land.
Right. I don't think
Matthew had the option of Spell Swindling that.
But I don't think he cares about it right now.
No, I don't think he does either.
Because, like, I think he knows if Jake's tap out, he wins.
That's true. Yeah, letting the Attune resolve. That's always...
That's fine.
There have been times where I have countered Attune with Aethers.
Was it right?
I think so. My opponent had only Aether Hubs in play as lands.
Okay, yeah, that might be right then.
And I had a Dynavolt Tower in play, so...
Okay.
It was just upside.
Like...
But yeah, it is normally correct to let the Attune resolve, and especially because we only need him 1 treasure. So...
Like, Matt has all the time in the world right now.
Yeah, if he can just wait and... If at any point Jake just plays Glorybringer...
Yeah.
He just wins.
Yeah. I mean... Ooh.
Glimmer of Genius getting spell swindled. That means Matt is only one treasure away from being able to win this game.
Yep.
So Jake, I don't think there's a single card in Jake's deck that is going to let him kill him. And Matt even just has a backup spell swindle. It's like what I was thinking here is maybe the card that gets him out of this is River's Rebuke. No, Appetite for the Unnatural and Negate.
Ooh, the blowout.
Oh. So now
we have a game.
I don't think we'd like.
I mean,
Matt needs to find another copy of Revel and Riches. Like that's his
he
main
plays
win
4,
condition
right?
here. I would hope so. It's the namesake card of your deck. He found a treasure map,
which is good.
That's going to be a great way to help him come back in this game. But
yeah, Jake set that up perfectly, though.
Yeah, I really like the way Jake set that up with making sure
he was so patient.
Yeah, he was very patient. Got his way to the Appetite on the Revel and the Riches, and was able to play it with Negate backup. That just shows that like he knows what's important in the matchup.
Yep.
And being able to that he knew that if he got that counter as a result, and now he can just play. He's got multiple threats in hand, and with 11 energy in play, this cub is a 2-turn clock.
Yeah, I mean, like Matt is just going to feel pressured. Ooh, Supreme Will. I don't know if I keep that. I think I do.
I think you have to. Because that is... Ooh, he could have cast on end of turn, though. I honestly would have cast it end of turn.
So... I kind of like Matt not doing that.
Yeah, I don't really feel the need to play Fumigate here, except for the fact that if you're trying to play around...
I don't know if I would have scryed first.
Well, he scryed into the Supreme Will.
Alright, that's fair.
Now...
No, I mean, like, and Jake's second turn. Now,
yeah, Jake is holding up Torrential Gearhulk here and has the option of countering this Supreme Will with Matthew having no cards in hand. The problem with that... I mean, honestly, the way Matt wins this game is probably just going to be Revel and Riches, so... Jake probably just has the option. I think what I would do is just let this Supreme Will resolve.
And then Torrential Glimmer? Or just wait until he plays Revels and Riches.
Yeah, I think you just need to have a way to answer Revel and Riches. I actually, now that I think about it a little more, I think I do like just countering this with the Gearhulk. It develops a threat, and that's a lot of cards Matt would be able to see. So yeah, it looks like Jake's now is gonna go for the line of negate your Supreme Will, and now Matthew needs to find Revel in the Riches plus a way to get a single treasure. And that's honestly one of the reasons I would have preferred holding on to that Fumigate, is because then when you play your Revel in the Riches, then you can cast Fumigate and get the necessary 10th treasure. It looks like a copy Never to Return to kill, which works very well with Anointed Procession. When you activate the back half, you get more
zombies.
You get more zombies.
But you don't get to exile more cards.
You do not. Now, so we've dealt with that, and Jake now he still has a copy of Glorybringer in hand.
But it's only a 3-turn clock.
It is only a 3-turn clock, but that's still 3 turns, and that is haste. It's effectively a 2-turn clock.
Yeah.
And so it's going to attack him down to 8. So Matthew really only has 2 turns to be able to find an answer to this.
I mean, he's going to see like 4 cards.
He's going to see a decent amount of cards. In upkeep here, he's going to scry, and that's going to flip his treasure map. So it looks like he's going to bottom. Yeah, he's going to bottom.
Maybe a start to finish right here would be nice.
Start to finish would be good. It's as just a way to kill the Glorybringer. Basically anything that can deal with Glorybringer. And yeah, so also a copy of Revel in the Riches, now that he's flipped treasure map, would get him the victory if Jake doesn't have an answer.
Yeah, so match should be at 8, by the way, guys.
Yeah, match should be at 8. He's going to cast Return. I don't really know. The 2/2 really doesn't get him out of this
I think what Matt's doing He wants to bait Jake into exerting his glory.
I honestly, like, that's the only thing this 2/2 really does. There's no kind of haste creature that's going to come out of the deck on the ground. It's just going to be another Glorybringer in the air. So we will see. Does Jake have the second Glorybringer? No, it just looks like Rogue Refiner that could draw the second Glorybringer.
I don't. I hope it's not a second Glorybringer.
Yeah, I honestly really want to see a Revel, but at this point, Revel in Riches doesn't actually win Matthew the game because he will be dead before he untaps with it. So he's going to have 2 draws to find a Fumigate. Yes, because he has that Treasure Cove land.
Or Settle the Wreckage.
Fumigate's a kind of Wrath effect. Basically just a way, honestly, if he just answered this Glorybringer and he drew Fatal Push.
That does not do it.
That does not do it, so it looks like he's going to sack a treasure. He's going to draw and find a land, it looks like.
Alright.
Yeah, it's the land, so it looks like Matt is dead on board. He's just going to try to bluff a removal spell, a Settle the Wreckage, but I don't think it's going to work. Jake's going to turn him sideways, go face.
Yep.
And that's going to be the game for Jake Valentine, 2-1 over Matthew Minniear on Esper Revel in the Riches.
Alright, well, you guys will be able to join us back for round 2. I don't think we'll be able to get another round in for you guys today, this round. Another game.
Yeah.
English is hard.
That negate did win Jake the game.
Yeah, Jake played that game 3
so
well.
Yeah.
He was so patient with his cards in his hand.
Okay, so we will see you guys after this round's over and for round 2. And we'll see you then.
All right, see you guys in round 2.